Hello friends, welcome back to the tetrahedron chemistry classes. So guys, in today's class I am going to discuss a very important name reaction which is Hofmann's rearrangement, and you may also call it this reaction as Hofmann bromamide reaction. Okay, and what we do in the Hofmann bromamide reaction, we convert our primary amides right into the primary amines. So before going into the details of the reaction and the mechanism, I would like to tell you certain things. Say there are four reactions, which first is the Hofmann's rearrangement, second is the Schmidt rearrangement, third is the Lawson rearrangement, and fourth is the Curtius rearrangement. So these reactions actually are of the same class. That means they are having the same kind of the intermediate, like say nitrine based intermediate they are having, and this Schmidt reaction and Curtius reaction, they have more or less same kind of the reaction mechanism. Okay, and these four reactions actually are in the syllabus of your IIT JAM. So this syllabus, this today's reaction and the upcoming three reactions, right? So in the upcoming lectures, okay, you will find the content which is very useful for your IIT JAM examination. Okay, if you are preparing for your 2022 IIT JAM examination, so you should focus on these things. So what you do in your Hofmann rearrangement, see, you will take your primary amide, which I have already written here. Why it is primary amide? Because this nitrogen having the two hydrogen. Okay, and you are having this R. This R could be anything. It could be the alkyl group like methyl or ethyl. It could be the aryl group like phenyl. Okay, so you can start this reaction with either with the acetamide or your benzamide. So if you do with the acetamide, then you will have your methylamine. Okay, and if you do your benzamide, then you will have your aniline. Okay, and then you will have your halogen, and halogen would be your either chlorine or the bromine. We cannot take fluorine and the iodine in that case, and you can take your alkali, water soluble bases, which are the alkalis, and among the alkalis you can take either your sodium hydroxide or your potassium hydroxide. Okay, and in the aqueous medium. So if these reagents, right, these reagents actually you subjected to in a reaction, they will form 1 degree amine or the primary amine along with the side products, sodium halide, sodium carbonate, and your water. Okay, so see, if you are writing this reaction and you are going for your examination, there is not much importance of these side products. But if you are doing this reaction in a lab and you are synthesizing certain things in your MSc programs and say in some other project type examination or project, right? So you have to take care of these things also, because they would be present in the mixture along with the primary amines. So separation is quite must actually. Okay, and for separation, then you will go for the different approach. Okay, but right now I am not focusing on the side product. So this reaction I am giving you. Now see, the important thing is that the mechanism, you should focus on the mechanism of this particular Hofmann bromide reaction. It is very important, because various textbooks I have seen where actually they have drawn this mechanism with flaw. Okay, so the mechanism is actually not very correct in the certain textbooks. So today I am going to give you the mechanism which is actually the perfect mechanism. Okay, and then you will understand how to do this Hofmann bromide reaction, and then you apply this reaction to synthesize the various classes of the compounds. Okay, so I am starting my reaction in that way. Say this is my R and this is my double bond oxygen, this is my NH2. So I am writing NH and NH. Okay guys, and then you are taking your attacking reagent. So this reaction starts with the hydroxide ion. You are taking this hydroxide ion. Okay, I am putting positive over there. So remember one thing guys, see, this nitrogen is having two hydrogens, and these two hydrogens are quite acidic in nature when compared to the alkyl hydrogens. Okay, so what will happen, you are using the strong base. That base would actually obviously abstract the most acidic proton present in the system. So it can abstract either this one or this one. Both are equivalent to give you the resonance stabilized species. So how this reaction will go, say this hydroxide will grab this proton, right, this hydrogen as the proton. So this will come here. Okay, and one lone pair were already present on the nitrogen, you know from the basics of the chemistry. So this will go up and beautifully the resonance is taking place in that case. Okay, and it will result in a species, and that species you can write in that manner. Say this is R, this is O. Now this would be this is RC, this is single bond O connected with double bond nitrogen now along with the lone pair present on it. Okay, and then you are having the hydrogen over there. So this you have resulted, and of course one of the water molecule you will eliminate from here. Okay, this is how you can draw. See, this has moved here, so this would be carbon double bond nitrogen, just like that here. This have moved over there, so this would be carbon single bond oxygen. Okay, so this species you are getting, and if you see more closely what can happen, this electron pair can come here and this can go there. So this reaction, this species is the resonance stabilized species. So you can write its resonance form also in that manner: single bond nitrogen, hydrogen, double bond, sorry, this two lone pairs over there. Okay, so it's a nitrine kind of thing, and these two species actually are the resonance stabilized. They are the resonance structure of this one. Basically they are the conjugate base. What they are? They are the conjugate base of amide. So whatever amide you have taken here, right, this has removed hydrogen during this process and resulting in these species which are conjugate base of the amide. Okay, now what can happen in the next step? So I am writing the next step here. So you have taken here Br2 molecule. Okay, you are taking Br2 molecule. So what can happen here? This nitrogen actually can attack on this bromine. So basically it's a nucleophilic attack. Okay, so this can attack over there, and this will come here, and what you will have then you will have this species R C double bond O, nitrogen having the hydrogen already, and Br, and only one lone pair. Why only one lone pair? Because one of the lone pair which were present on the nitrogen actually is consumed by this Br to form the bond. Okay, and this Br will leave from here as a negatively charged species. It's a leaving group, so you can write Br negative over there. Okay, so this is actually N-bromoamide, because this nitrogen, see, this nitrogen is substituted with the bromine, so you can call it as N-bromoamide, capital N-bromoamide. Okay, now this hydrogen is acidic again, and this bromine which has attacked over there, it makes this hydrogen more acidic, so it can be removed from here also. So in the next step what you can do, you can take your hydroxide again, OH negative. So this OH negative will attack on this hydrogen, it will grab it, and the bond present between them will go to the nitrogen atom. Okay, basically it's a deprotonation step, and in the deprotonation step what you will get? You will get another species that would look like in that manner. Say this is R C double bond O, nitrogen along with the Br, and of course two lone pair would be there now. Okay, so you are getting this particular species, and see guys, this species is also resonance stabilized. You can draw the resonance structure of this one also. How? Say this can come here, this can go there. Okay, so you may have the resonance stabilization in this also. So how? So you can write R C single bond O with a negative. This is double bond nitrogen along with one electron pair and the Br. So again you see these species are resonance stabilized. Again they are what? They are again the conjugate bases of your N-bromoamide. This was your N-bromoamide. When they have lost this hydrogen, they have produced these species. So they are the conjugate base of N-bromoamide. Okay. Now up to this point there is no problem in that. From here actually you will find a very important thing which you will always keep in mind. right, because this step is actually the very important reaction. This step is very important step. So I am writing that step in the next page. So how we can do, so you can take a snapshot of this one. I hope you have taken. So now in the next step, what will happen, you see here, you are having this species RC double bond O, single bond nitrogen, and this is Br, right, you are having this species, right, and from here you see this step is actually your the rate determining step. So RDS I am writing, it's a slow step, and in that case actually the migration would occur. Okay, so you can write migration of carbon to nitrogen. Okay, so that migration would occur from carbon to nitrogen. So how that migration would occur, it is something very important. Okay, so this group, right, this R along with its electron pair will move to this particular nitrogen. Okay, when this will come here, what will happen, this can come here and this can go up, and that Br will be removed from here as a leaving species. So I am explaining the thing again. See very carefully, this alkyl group with its electron pair, that means it's an in the form of the anion, it will migrate from this carbon to the nitrogen, and nitrogen is already having the 2 lone pairs, so this has to go back. So this bromine will leave from here as a leaving group, and one of the lone pair will move from nitrogen to this carbon nitrogen bond, and this oxygen carbon oxygen double bond will move to the oxygen. Okay, so this is how it will take place. Okay, and it's a very important reaction, and it's a concerted step. Okay, I'll show you the other aspects of this reaction in next term. So what you will left then, see, you will left this nitrogen, and now this nitrogen will have your R which has migrated, and double bond carbon you will having, and then you are having your say double bond oxygen, right, this species you may have. This is something very important which you should keep in mind. Okay, so this you have formed, and this is your actually N-alkyl isocyanate. So I can write its name here, N-alkyl isocyanate. This step is very important step, and it's a concerted step. This has to be remembered. Okay, now when this happens, actually this will have the lone pair. Now you have taken the solution in the aqueous medium, so you are having, say, water, H2O. Okay, so that water will attack on this carbon. Okay, because it is more electrophilic when compared to the oxygen and the nitrogen. So obviously that electron pair will go to the carbon. Okay, and when this happens, actually what will happen in that case, then when this will happen, so this will come here just like that, and you will have your species oxygen, sorry, then you will have your species oxygen with negative sign, single bond carbon. Okay, that carbon is now linked with the water, and then water will have a positive charge over there, and this would be your double bond nitrogen, and after double bond nitrogen you are having your R. Then after that, you see what can happen here. See, once you get this particular species, now the proton transfer would occur in that case. How the proton transfer would occur? You see, this electron pair will move here, and this will go there, and that pair which will come on the nitrogen will abstract proton from here, and this lone pair will go to the oxygen. Okay, and once you do this, then you will have here this species, and you can write that species in that manner: oxygen double bond carbon, single bond nitrogen, along with the hydrogen which has migrated from the oxygen of water, and then you are having the R, okay, and then you are having your OH. So this species then you will have, and that species is nothing, it is your carbamic acid. So I can write carbamic acid, okay, then you will get this particular species. So what can happen after that? Since you have used the alkali medium, in that case you don't forget this point, you have used the alkali medium, so OH negative is already there. So that OH negative will actually abstract this more acidic, because this is the acidic proton which is more acidic than your this hydrogen of the present on the nitrogen. So this will grab this hydrogen, and that will give you this species, and that species would look like now oxygen double bond carbon, oxygen with negative sign, okay, because this will come here, okay, and then you are having your N, H and R, okay. And after that you see here what can happen. From here it's very easy to remove carbon dioxide from here. So how we can remove the carbon dioxide? This can come here, and this electron pair will shift towards this here, and you will have minus CO2, and along with the minus CO2 then you are having R, NH with 2 electron pairs. See, one it was having already, okay, one is coming from here, right? So this species actually is the nitrine species, and this nitrine species, since you have used this aqueous medium, OH negative and H positive, so this will grab this hydrogen, and then you will have your RNH2, okay, and once carbon dioxide you have removed from here. So this is your 1 degree amine. And if you think about your byproduct or the side product, so there are certain kinds of the reaction. You see, I can write the side products here. I can write side products. Your carbon dioxide which has released will dissolve in the water to produce your carbonic acid, which is H2CO3, and that carbonic acid will react with the sodium hydroxide, okay. You can take 2 of equivalent of the sodium hydroxide, it will produce the sodium carbonate, Na2CO3. So your byproduct is having this species also, okay. So but don't focus on these. So this is how you can draw this actually mechanism of your Hofmann bromamide reaction. It's a very important mechanism and you have to go through. Now see, here you can see one very important aspect which I already told you. Focus on this. I said that in this RDS step or in the migration step, where this alkyl group or the allyl group as anion will migrate from this carbon terminal to the nitrogen terminal, it's a concerted step, okay. So what I said, it's a concerted step, and you know in the pericyclic reaction what are the concerted steps? Concerted steps are those steps in which the bond breaking and the bond making will occur simultaneously as in SN2 reaction also, okay. So how we can prove that? Do we have any proof by which we can say that okay, this is happening in the concerted manner? So we have the various kinds of the reaction, various proof in that cases. So we can prove this reaction as the concerted mechanism. How? You can see in the next page. Okay, say for example guys, I am taking another reaction. For example, you have this compound carbon C double bond O in H2, okay, and this is one of the hydrogen, say H, and this is your say CH2, and benzene ring is there in that manner you can write, and then you are having the CH3, okay. And if you do the Hofmann bromide reaction, so I can write it here Br2 plus NaOH. After that you will do the hydrolysis also, HOH I can write. So this will give you the amine, it's quite obvious, it will give you the NH2, okay, and this your hydrogen, and this is your next group which is your CH2 along with the benzene ring, and this is your methyl. Okay, so you know in the Hofmann bromide reaction what happens? See, this amide linkage will convert into the amine, so it has converted here. And if you check the configuration, so this carbon is actually having the S configuration, and in the product this carbon is again having the S configuration. That means it is happening that it is retention of configuration, retention of configuration. So this is the very special feature of your Hofmann bromide reaction. If you are using any substrate, any amide substrate which is having the any kind of the stereochemistry, be it your open chain stereochemistry, be it your your cis or trans geometry from here, right? So this geometry actually will actually conserved during the reaction, and this can be only possible if your reaction have gone through the concerted mechanism, right? So this is the proof actually. So this again, this is something very, very important. This Hofmann rearrangement is an intramolecular reaction, right? It is having intramolecularly. See why intramolecularly? You can go again. See, all the things which are migrating from here to here, the reaction is going intramolecularly. So Hofmann rearrangement is the intramolecular reaction. That means this migrating group, right, does not separate during the rearrangement course. It will always attach to this particular system. See, if the when the migrating group is having certain any kind of the stereochemistry, it must be retained because the group is actually always attaching to the system. But remember one thing, if this group is detached from here in any step, then it may lose its stereochemistry. It is very, very important point, right? If it was not a concerted mechanism, then stereochemistry could be lost, right? This stereochemistry, this stereochemistry could be lost because the detached group may lose the stereochemistry. So this is the proof by which we can say it's a concerted mechanism, and the migrating group is always attaching to the system. It is not actually detaching from here. This is one of the proof which is something very, very important. And again, you see the various kinds of the proof I can give you. Say another reaction I can give you. Say you are having this species, okay, I can write this in that manner, and say you are having this acid here, COOH, and say one is going up, and then you are having CONH2, okay, and both are actually alpha. This is also alpha, this is also alpha. Alpha means below the plane, alpha means below the plane, okay. Now if you do the Hofmann bromide reaction for this one, so I can write Hofmann bromamide reaction, HBr I am writing, okay. If you do this reaction and you will get the product, so your product would look like, right, this amide linkage will convert into the amine NH2, and of course this acid is here, COOH. So this is alpha again, this is alpha again. So in the product actually you can see both are having this alpha orientation. So in the product also they are having the alpha relation. So basically what you are doing, you are actually taking this beta camphoramic acid, right, in which your acid and amide are having the cis configuration, and in the product where you have converted that compound into 1-amino dihydro alpha campholytic acid. In that case again you see your acid and amine in the cis geometry, okay, or say they are having the same configuration, and it can only be possible if the reaction is the concerted one. If it is not a concerted one, so they may lose the stereochemistry. So one may go up, that means may go to the beta, and other may remain in the alpha, and vice versa. So various things actually can happen. So now how we can prove that this has happened actually? So again, see very famous example for this. See this one. Say if you heat this system, if you heat this, So during heating, what will happen? This this OH will grab one of the hydrogen from here, okay, and water molecule will removed. This is how you can write. And once water molecule will remove from here, you will have this species. So I can draw the structure. So this was alpha, carbon double bond oxygen, and here also you are having this nitrogen and hydrogen, and they will linked because water has removed from here. So what you have formed? You have formed the lactam. This compound is lactam. So this compound is forming the lactam, and remember, this formation of the lactam can only be possible if both these two groups have the cis geometry, either alpha or either both would be beta. So both can be below the plane, as in this case both can above the plane, which is difficult but can happen. So only this cis geometry is possible. See, because to remove this OH and H from here for this orbital overlap, both must have the cis geometry, and since they are for the formation of the lactam, and since they are forming the lactam, that means they are having the cis geometry. So this is a very beautiful proof. That means the concerted step where the alkyl group is migrating, from carbon to the nitrogen, it's a concerted step, not the detached step. So it's a very famous reaction, and we may have the various examples based on this. Say you may take another example. Say you are having this one. Say this is benzene, and over there NO2 group is there, okay, and here you see the naphthyl group I am attaching. This is the naphthyl group, okay, and here I am giving you the NO2, and here I am giving you the CONH2, right. So this is the compound, this is amide, you can see here, and this compound is actually optically active. This is optically active, and if you do the Hofmann bromide reaction for this one, I can write it as Hofmann bromamide reaction, HBr. So you will get your product. What product you will get? It is quite obvious. This amide will be converted into the amine, and rest of the things will remain the same. So you can write the product, okay. So this is NO2, no problem. This is another NO2, no problem. This is your naphthyl, in that manner, and this has converted into the NH2, okay. And this compound is also optically active. That means during the course of the Hofmann bromide reaction, the optical activity has not lost. That means it's a concerted step. What happens actually, you can see here, it's a very important thing to note. This single bond rotation cannot take place here. Why? Because you are having this NO2 here, this CONH2 here, okay, and this naphthyl moiety, right, this moiety, okay. So due to these two groups, actually this rotation is not quite free. So this compound is optically active, and during the course of the reaction, this optical activity remains as such, that means rotation is not taking place. Then you can imagine in that manner, if somehow this rotation is possible, if somehow, see, if you remove this group from here, okay, so this rotation would possible, and you will get here the racemized product. The racemization would occur in that case, okay. So this again proves that this is the concerted reaction. That means this group is never detached, this group is never detached. This is the migrating group actually, okay. This has migrated, which is not actually detached from here. If it was detached, that means the optical activity would have been lost, but it is not losing from here. So this is something very important. These things are very important to note that. Now I am going to the see, I hope this is clear to you. Now some other aspects which you should know, the substrates which actually don't undergo the Hofmann bromamide reaction. So I can write it here. substrate which cannot give Hofmann bromamide reaction. This is my way of writing HBr. Okay, you can write in your own way also. So what are those substances? See, important thing is that whenever, see, you are having this species R C double bond O NH2. If two hydrogens are there, it can give Hofmann bromide reaction. And if you change this in that manner, R C double bond O, then you can write here, say NH, and you can write here you can attach this L. This can also give you the Hofmann bromamide reaction, where L is the leaving group. L is the leaving group. Leaving group could be anything. It could be your Cl, it could be your Br, or it could be your, say, special type of your leaving group like acetate. Okay, and you may take your tosylate also, paratoluene sulfonic acid. Okay, then you can take your OBS. Okay, and you can take your OMS, various kinds of the leaving, they are the very good leaving group. So what is the condition for the substrate to undergo the Hofmann bromide reaction? It should either have two hydrogens attached with it, and or it must have one hydrogen along with the leaving group. If any one of these two is absent, whether this hydrogen is absent, then there is no Hofmann bromide reaction. This leaving group is absent, then there is no Hofmann bromide reaction. So what are those examples? Say you are having R C double bond O, okay, and then you are having this nitrogen, and this nitrogen is having the two alkyl groups, right? Two alkyl groups. So these two alkyl groups are not, see, they are not hydrogen, they are not having the acidic hydrogen, so that means the abstraction would not occur. So this will not give you your Hofmann bromide reaction. Okay, there is no possibility, because no acidic hydrogen, no leaving group is present here in that case. But you may take another substrate also. Say you are having this substrate, say R C double bond O, okay, nitrogen, and that nitrogen, say, is having the leaving group, and then you are having, say, your alkyl group, R dash I am writing. So this having the leaving group, but it is not having the acidic hydrogen, so this will also not give your Hofmann bromamide reaction. So these are the things which you have to keep in mind. Your substrate either have the two hydrogens or have one hydrogen or the one leaving group. Any other combination or any other substrate will not undergo your Hofmann bromamide reactions. These are the very beautiful things which you should know. Now you may think about the various applications of the Hofmann bromamide reactions. So now I am going for the application part, which is more important for your examination point of view. So I can write applications. I can write applications. So you may hear some noise because quite heavy rainfall is there. So it is there may be some difficulty in the noise actually, right? So due to the noise. So what are the different kinds of the applications, right? So applications are, various applications are there. So first of all, you see number one, synthesis of amino acids. Synthesis of amino acids. See guys, this Curtius reaction and this Hofmann bromide reaction, they have immense applications in the biochemistry. Okay, so you can see here amino acids, you can synthesize the amino acids from here. Okay, and when you are synthesizing the amino acid, you can think about this species. Say you are having this compound, this is oxygen, carbon double, sorry, this is benzene ring, carbon double bond oxygen, carbon double bond oxygen, this is N, this is H, this is N. So this is not amide, but it is imide. This compound is what? Imide. Okay, you should know this thing actually guys. See this if CONH2 is there, then it would be amide. if one hydrogen is absent, then it is imide. So this is imide linkage actually, okay, and this imide actually is made from your phthalic acid. So basically it's a phthalimide, okay. So I can write its full name, phthalimide, okay. And if you do the reaction, your Hofmann bromide reaction, HBr I am writing for this one, then it will end up in the amino acid. So you can write your product. See, this is NH2 and this is COOH. This is amino acid basically, right? And the kind of amino acid, not exactly amino acid. So what the name of this compound? It is anthranylic acid. Anthranylic acid. This compound is the anthranylic acid. So guys, in this reaction a very important feature is hidden actually. See, in that case you see this carbonyl and this carbonyl both are equivalent. So it will not make any difference if you convert this compound in the amine as you did here, NH2 group, and this part as the acid. This will not make any difference. So you can write in the other way also, right? So you may write in that manner also. Say you are having this possibility also, you can write this this COH and this would be NH2, okay. So both are same. So in that case, see, any of the carbonyl linkage, any of the carbonyl group can be converted into the acid or into the amino group, but this is not always the case. So the difference in Hofmann bromide reaction of your amides and the imide is that in case of the amide you were producing the amines, but in that case you are producing amine along with the acidic part. So this again, you see, if you want, then you can go through the mechanism of this reaction also, okay. So I am not actually drawing the mechanism of this reaction because the length of the video will increase too much. So I am not going into that much of the detail, okay. So if you want, then you can actually draw the mechanism. It's quite easy, okay. And now say, the problem, where the problem will start in that case. Say you are having this substrate. I am taking this substrate. This is again same phthalimide I am taking. This is carbon double bond oxygen, and this is again carbon double bond oxygen. This is NH, okay. And here, and at this position, say you are having the NO2 group, you are having the NO2 group, okay, and you are doing the Hofmann bromide reaction for this one, HBr, Hofmann bromamide reaction. So what product you can have in that case? Say you may have this, so I am what I am doing, I am converting this into acid, OH, and this into NH2, and here you are having the NO2 group. Another possibility is this. Say you are having this, I am writing NH2 here and I am making this as acid, OH, and my NO2 is here. So these two compounds are the different compounds. You see here, see, if I number the system, this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 3, this would be 4, this would be 5, this would be 6. If I number this would be 1, this would be 2, this would be 3, this would be 4, this would be 5, this would be 6. So in that case, you see nitro, in the second case, nitro group is present at position number 5, and here you see the nitro group is present as position number 4, okay. So this is the different. So which product would be the major product in that case, you have to decide, okay. And for this, actually I am giving you a very important feature in that case, right. The important feature is that, see, the carbonyl group, actually the carbonyl group which actually receive the hydroxide ion during this reaction mechanism will actually survive in the reaction, and this will present as the acid, So see, in words actually I cannot explain, or you will not understand quickly. I have to draw the mechanism for this one. But before going into the detail, I am telling you that if you do say, then this would be your major product. This would be your major product. This would be your minor product. Okay. So how to decide the major and the minor product? For this actually I have to go for the mechanism of this above reaction. So I am doing the reaction, I am doing the mechanism of this reaction. Please focus on this mechanism. Okay. So right. So I am doing the mechanism very quickly. You can see here, say this was my 6-membered ring, and this is the carbonyl, this is the carbonyl, okay, and this is my imide linkage. And you know, in the reaction I am using my hydroxide, that means alkali, so it will grab that hydrogen, pushing the electron pair here. It does nitrogen is already having your lone pair. So what can happen? Water molecule will eliminate from here, and during this elimination you will have your next species. That species will look like in that manner. This is O, this is O again, say this is nitrogen, and this nitrogen in the form of the nitrene. You can write negative over there. The next step is same, say you have say you have used your Br, so it's a nucleophilic attack. So this can attack here, this can go there, okay, and then this will when this will attack, so one of the Br will remove as Br negative, and then you are having your this species, the 6-membered ring, and this is your carbonyl, this is your another carbonyl, and this is your nitrogen along with the Br. You are having this species, okay. So this is how you can write, okay. So it is actually, so I can write it again here. So this is Br, okay. Now in the next step, what can happen? You have, see, in the step you have taken OH negative. You have taken this OH negative, okay. So it's a nucleophile. So what will happen? The nucleophilic attack will happen. See, this carbonyl carbon which is present here, it is electrophilic in nature, and this carbon is also electrophilic in nature. So both the carbonyls actually, both these carbonyls, okay, they are having the same nature, that means same electrophilicity. So this nucleophile can attack on this carbonyl carbon, it can also attack on this carbonyl carbon, and this will not make any difference. So what I am doing, I am attacking this nucleophile to this above side carbonyl group. I am doing this reaction in that manner. So say this nucleophile is attacking here, okay. So this will obviously go up, okay. So what product you will have then? Not product actually, what species you can have? The species which you will have look like in that manner. This was your 6-membered ring, and this was the carbon, oxygen, this is your OH nucleophile, and this is your carbonyl group, and this is your nitrogen and the Br, okay. There is no problem in that, right? This OH has attacked here, so this OH is here, and this has moved over there, so this is your O negative, and rest thing is same, okay. So here you can see the nucleophile is attacking on this carbon. Please focus on this point, okay. This will give you a very important result to you. And then after that you see what can happen, right? After that, see, this will come here at this position, and this bond will break and will go to the nitrogen, okay. And what will I see? It is basically, it is SN2 type of attack, SN2 attack, intramolecular SN2 attack. Earlier, in the earlier example, I didn't mention that point, but it is important, okay. So what it will result? It will give you this species, that is C double bond O and OH. There is no problem in that. Okay, and then you are having CO, nitrogen, and this group, one lone pair were already there and one is coming after the breaking of the bond. So this is something very, very important. This is having already one lone pair which is there, and this bond has breaked. This is getting this, and this has converted into carbon double bond oxygen. So this is this one, this is OH. So you have converted this into the acid. This is something very, very important. So the group, the carbonyl group which gets actually this OH negative will present in the compound as the acid. Please remember this particular point. Okay, and after that, if you want, then what you can do, this step has taken. Now say you have used already in that case hydroxide, OH negative. So this OH negative can grab this hydrogen. Okay, and when this will grab this hydrogen, okay, that means minus H2O I can write here, minus H2O. This is very important step. And when I write this, so this would be your 6-membered ring. This would be carbon double bond oxygen and O negative, because hydrogen has removed from here. This is your carbonyl again, and this is your nitrogen with 2 of the lone pairs, and this is the Br. Okay, so this is something very, very important. And after that, what can happen? See, this step is crucial again. You have reached to this rearrangement step. Rearrangement means it's a rate determining step, and it would be concerted. It would be concerted. So what will happen? The migration would occur. So what can happen? See, I am showing you this part will migrate. This part will migrate from here to here up to this nitrogen. When this will attack to the nitrogen, this bromine will leave from here and this lone pair will come here. So what species you will get in that case? So I am writing that species. Please focus on that particular species. Oxygen double bond carbon, there is no problem in that. Carbon double bond nitrogen, this is the isocyanate linkage which you have to draw in that manner only. And then you are having this benzene ring which has migrated, and at this particular position you are having your COO negative. This is important. Again guys, I am showing you this very beautiful and important step. Please focus on this one. See this part, this is your carbon terminal and this is your nitrogen terminal, and this group actually will migrate along with the electron pair. See, this group actually, this whole group will migrate from this nitrogen to this nitrogen, from this carbon to this nitrogen, and this bromide will leave from here and this will come here. So carbon double bond oxygen were already there which we have written, and this carbon single bond nitrogen will get converted into carbon double bond nitrogen. So you have written carbon double bond nitrogen, and this group has migrated to the nitrogen, so you have written this nitrogen. And since this is having this, you see this at ortho position it is having COO negative, so here also it is having at ortho position COO negative. So this is your isocyanate, right? This is something very, very important which you have to keep in mind. Okay, this is very important step, very, very important step. Okay, and in the next step what can happen actually, right? So in the next step what you can do, say you have taken your water H2O, okay, that H2O will attack over there, this will come here, okay, and when this happens then you will have this species, say oxygen single bond carbon linked with the oxygen and 2 of the hydrogens. There is no problem in that. Okay, and then you are having the double bond nitrogen, and this double bond nitrogen is having this benzene. So I can draw it again, this benzene. Okay, and at this position you are having your COO negative. There is no problem in that, and of positive over there, and of course this was negative. Okay, what can happen in the next step? This can come here and this can go there, and that lone pair will grab that hydrogen. In the earlier I have shown you, and this will come up. Okay, and then you will get your product. Okay, and what product you will get in that case? See, this is something very important. Say you will not straightforward get the product actually. First the carbon dioxide removal will occur, and after that carbon dioxide removal you will do the hydrolysis. So I can write it here, minus CO2 plus hydrolysis. Okay, so 2 of H2O I am writing here, and then you will get your product, and that product would be COOH and NH2. So I haven't drawn the whole mechanism, but you can understand in that manner. So the key is that, the very important point or the key is that the carbonyl group which actually this is the carbonyl group right here, this carbonyl group which gets the hydroxide, that means the nucleophile, this will survive in the product. This thing you have to keep in mind. Now if I go back and you focus on this, right, so I am explaining you a very important feature here. You should focus on this one. Say this is your NO2, okay, and that NO2 is having what kind of effect? It may show you your minus I effect. Okay, it may show you your minus I effect, so I can write it as minus I effect here, minus I effect. So along with the minus I effect, what other effect it can show you along with this minus I effect? It can also show you your resonance, your minus R also, minus R. So it can show you minus I or minus R. That means it will suck the electron density towards itself. That nitro group will suck the electron density towards itself. So if you focus on this here, you see this is the nitro group. If you see here, okay, so with respect to this nitro, you can call it as ortho, this is meta, this is para, while this is ortho and this is meta. So the important thing is that this amide linkage is present at meta position, and this imide linkage, and this imide linkage is this carbonyl of the imide linkage is present at the para position. And you know from the basics of the general organic chemistry or from the basics of the organic chemistry, the resonance effect, see this you cannot apply your minus I effect because it is not more fundamental. More fundamental is the resonance effect. So forget about the minus I effect, you apply the minus R effect. So if you apply the minus R effect from here, so this will operate more strongly at either at ortho position or para position. It will not operate that strongly at the meta position. So what will happen? This nitro group will suck the electron density from this carbonyl pretty much, right, when compared to this one. So both these carbons actually are electrophilic, but this carbonyl carbon which is para to the nitro is more electrophilic, because minus R effect of this nitro will be more pronounced at the para position. So this would be I can write it as more electrophilic. This is more electrophilic, and the species which is more electrophilic, this will get what? The OH attack. During the reaction this will get the OH attack, and I told you the species which receives the OH negative, that will survive in the reaction during the reaction mechanism. That means this carbonyl group, group will survive. This will give you the acid, and here it is giving you the acid. So this is the major product. While in that case you can see here, this group actually is has converted into the acid, okay, but it is to the para position. So this will be your minor product. See, there are various other aspects which are not completed yet. So I am going to complete those aspects also. Okay. So say for example, I hope up to this point there is no problem. In the next case, say you are having what we can do. what we can do, okay, please wait. Yes, say I am having this O double bond oxygen and nitrogen, and this and this is having the leaving group. This leaving group could be anything. Okay guys, this could be anything. So if you do this reaction, if you do the Hofmann bromide reaction, so it will require only alkali, no halogen is required, no Br2 in that case, because it is already having the leaving group. Okay, in case of the imide, if you substitute your hydrogen with the leaving group, that would be sufficient to do the reaction. So what can happen in that case? It can in that case you may have your product, say just like that. This is COO negative and this is NH2, and if you do the hydrolysis for this one, that means aqueous, that means protic workup. Okay, so you will have acid and you will have NH2. So what I am trying to explain here, whenever your imide is having only leaving group, then only hydroxide will require to facilitate the reaction. This is something very important which you should keep in mind. Okay, so there are various reactions, like say synthesis of the hydrazine you can do with the application of this one, right? And synthesis of your, say, one more important reaction which you should keep in mind, that is synthesis of beta aminopyridine. Synthesis of beta aminopyridine. Say you are having this, say you are having this nitrogen, I am writing here, okay, and you are having CONH2, and I am putting one fluorine here. Basically it is fluoronicotinamide. This compound is known as the fluoronicotinamide, and if you do the Hofmann bromide reaction for this one, so I am writing HBr, okay, Hofmann bromide reaction. So that will give you this species, amine. It will simply give you the amine, NH2 and F over there, and of course the nitrogen is here. Okay, it is beta aminopyridine. This compound you may synthesize. Okay, and after that you can see the various reactions. Say you are having this compound, say this is right, CONH2. So it's quite easy now. Say this is simply amide, so you can do this Hofmann bromide reaction, and of course after that you will also do the hydrolysis. Okay, and if when you do the hydrolysis, then it will give you the compound in which your NH2 group is there. So you can synthesize your amines also. Okay, so you can synthesize various compounds. These are the few examples, but you can synthesize the various things. So the important thing is that whenever you are doing the reaction with the amide, straightforward convert your amide into the amine, that's it. But if you have the some typical problems, right, say remember this thing, whenever if you are having only the leaving group, then hydroxide is sufficient. Okay, and after that you can see in the previous what I have shown you, okay, the mechanism. See, this I have actually skipped, hydrolysis and minus CO2. This you can do by your own, but the important thing is that the carbonyl carbon which gets the OH attack will survive in the product actually, and that will present as the acid. So based on this you have seen, let me check, okay, where is that, right, these are the things actually. So this is the major and this is the minor. Why? This is minus I effect, okay, which is actually making this more nucleophilic. Okay, this more nucleophilic, which is making the NO2 group, making this more nucleophilic, and this will get the OH attack and that will survive in the product. Okay, while in case of the next example, in case of your alkyl part, right, where I have written that, okay, I missed that somewhere. Where is that alkyl part where I have written? Okay, I have missed somewhere, or I have deleted, maybe I have deleted that part. Okay, oh, not deleted actually. You see here, this is R. Okay, so this case is quite different. So these are the some of the aspects of your Hofmann bromamide reaction, and you should know each and everything. So I hope you understood the things well, right? And in the upcoming classes, I'll go for the other different rearrangement like Curtius rearrangement, Lawson rearrangement, and the Schmidt rearrangement. So thank you guys, thank you very much. That's it for today. Thank you very much.